The Sci-Forror Film Podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sci-Forror Film Podcast. I'm joined today by Owen Llewelyn, who is the star of R.I.P. Man and R.I.P. Man 2, which will be out soon, and other things. Hiya, how you doing?
Hey, pleasure to be here.
Good, good. Glad to hear you. We will be talking about your films and everything at another point. Today we're doing science fiction films, which is odd because I only know you for doing horror, so it's kind of
I mean, there's a bit of a horror edge to, especially the last one.
yeah,
But well, so I consider the last one a horror sci-fi, right? Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Okay, well let's get on with it. Okay, so the first of our films is from 2011, and it's a film called Stealing Time. The writers are Alex Kalleros and Michael Trucker. The director is Alice Kalleros, and the cast is Mikey Beattie, Dan Beckner, Adele Watkin, Joel Joel Kelly Dayton, Mo Beattie, and Sophie Green. And the synopsis for this says, when a down on his luck inventor builds a time machine to change the past, he unwittingly sets off a disastrous chain of events. I don't know about you, I love time travel
yeah,
stories and films, especially ones like this that play with the idea of paradoxes.
yeah. I mean, I always find that I do enjoy time travel. I find I always like have trouble wrapping my brain around everything. Like I'm always like this one's no exception. Like I'm constantly thinking, does that make sense? Is that true? Is that right? Is that and usually the answer is yes, it makes sense because the writer thought it all through. But as an audience member, often it takes me a while to process like how exactly it all fits together.
Oh no, I agree. I agree. It's I like silly little things like the fact that he runs past something that he later leaves in the road. It's just kind of,
Yeah, yeah,
very cleverly done. I think it's great. I think the story itself is really good, really clever. Um, yeah. The film is very well made and very well acted. Um, and it looks good as well. The cinematography is really good on it and all that sort of thing. It, for me, I think it had the right mix of kind of humor, but with kind of action as well. So it didn't feel like a comedy, but it,
no, but I feel like it sort of lent itself to that light-hearted feel, as you say. Like yeah, it wasn't a comedy, but it certainly was almost had the energy of one,
yeah,
like without being a comedy, if that makes sense. Like it was very easy to watch. Like the energy was high throughout the whole film, and yeah, it was an easy one to take in immediately. Even if you didn't know exactly what was happening, you could absorb yourself almost immediately.
absolutely. Yeah, I think the whole thing works really well. It's well paced and it kind of works really well as a film.
Yeah, and I thought like the way it unveils different things. Obviously, yeah, as you say, like he bumps into things that you see later on that he actually used, and also the fact that yeah, it unveils different things throughout. Like yeah, there's a constant unveil. There's a constant unveil which keeps it interesting, and I enjoyed the part at the end with the fact that it's just a cycle and a loop, and in order to get away with it, he's just got to keep doing the cycle, and every version of him will keep getting away with it as long as he does exactly what the idea that the first version of him had. I guess if there is a
Yeah,
first version, it seems to be a loop. Yeah, the only thing I couldn't grasp was like I guess the paradox loop happened, and then yeah, that I was trying to work out like, so what if this happened? How did the first version occur? This later version, like that part, my brain works on that, but I
Yeah.
guess it's a paradox loop, or yeah, I don't
It,
know.
it, it can be a bit, if you're not careful, you can end up tying yourself in knots with it. Um, but what I liked about this is I kind of like both things, but there's a lot of films that we've seen on here where it's kind of like looks like it should be part of a bigger film or whatever because you want to know more and all that sort of thing. But what I like about this is it's kind of compact and it encloses itself, so it doesn't feel like you're missing anything.
No, no, and but it still keeps enough of a world. The fact he's being transported into these different areas keeps it makes it feel a little bigger than it is in a way, like because he gets transported to these different places. So there's a little adventure each time he's goes through the journey.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah,
So
I enjoyed it. It was a good fun
uh,
film to watch.
the only part that irked me a little bit was when the fact he shoots himself. I was
Yeah,
like, I was a bit like, if you know a version of you kills another version, why is that your first instinct? Because obviously, I'm guessing this guy isn't a killer by nature. He certainly doesn't come across it. So, what
no.
was his first instinct to quickly just shoot another version of himself? That was the only thing that irked me. Otherwise, I have no qualms with the film.
Yeah, no, I do get that. Yeah, it wasn't quite in keeping with his character to just suddenly pick up a gun, which just happened to randomly be on the side of with all of his scientific equipment.
Well, he said he kept it for safety. I
Yeah,
right at the start, I don't know. He didn't really give reasoning for the safety, but obviously,
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Mind you, it's America. I mean, they all seem to have guns everywhere all the time.
it's true.
If you
Daily
watch,
household item, but
okay. Right, the second of our films is on the Dust Channel, and it's from 2018, and it's a film called Final Offer. The writer and director of this is Mark Slutsky, and the cast is Aaron Abrams and Anna Hopkins. The synopsis says a down on his luck lawyer awakes to find he's been enlisted to negotiate on behalf of the human race.
yeah.
This is another one with a very clever kind of premise and clever story to it that I felt was really well written.
Yeah, I thought it was really well acted too. I thought both characters were really engaging, and it was, yeah. Again, it was one of those ones where like I didn't. I watched that one twice because the first time I watched it, I didn't feel like I really clocked exactly what was happening until about halfway through. So I felt like I
Yeah.
needed to watch it again to understand the first half.
Yeah, no, I get that. I must admit I watched it twice as well. So but yeah, I think that they both the actors are really good, and I like the setting as well. The setting was really good. It was kind of it looked right, and it felt really good.
Yeah, it was cold and hollow. Like it was like I imagine it was like maybe a room in a mansion or a big sort of town, like I don't know, a old grand town hall or something. Like it was, yeah, there was a real sort of cold bleakness to that the setting, which was really, yeah, I picked up on that too. I really liked the set. Yeah,
I mean, the other thing, I mean, there aren't that many effects as such, but what there are work really well. The creature being seen through the wall worked really well.
yeah, and the first when you first see it, you're just like, oh wow, what's happening here? Like, and then you realize it's her form, and
Yeah, no, yeah, I really like that. I just like it reminds me a little bit of some episodes of things like the Twilight Zone and that sort of thing, where in the newer ones of the Twilight Zone, especially, there were these short episodes where they kind of just had like two people, and it was just kind of like a confrontation between them, that didn't go exactly the way you thought it was going to, and I like that.
yeah, no, I see that comparison. I made a more out there comparison that I got from watching it was, do you know the Brendan Fraser film, Bedazzled?
Yeah,
It reminded me, especially at the end where they started sort of like making friends.
yeah.
It reminded me a lot of when like Brendan Fraser's like, even though you're the devil, you're the best friend I ever had, and like it was kind of like, It's
Yeah,
still
there is a bit of that. Yeah, yeah, and I like the way it ended. It kind of ends on a kind of up note, if you like, even though it's it's a bit kind of down for a lot of it. It ends on this kind of up note, which works really well. Um, I thought it was a really good short film. It works just perfectly as it is.
Yeah, I agree, and it's one that's quite memorable. Like, just that's like they obviously picked him because they deducted him to be like the worst lawyer, and then the fact he can come through at the end, even though he was found passed out, and I presume I don't know if they made him pass out or if he passed out by his own alcohol intake, but either way, he was quite a sort of down on his luck kind of guy that wasn't feeling good about himself, and then to go on and save the world essentially. It was quite a
Yeah,
nice little uplifting thing for him, and yeah, and the negotiating party that I don't know exactly what she negotiated for, that planet or whatever, like yeah, she saw light in the situation. It wasn't like this grim, like she suddenly goes off the wall when she loses, and yeah, it was a nice little subtle upbeat ending, I guess.
was yeah. I think the whole thing worked really well, and I thought it was a good film.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Too. Okay. Right, the feature film for this week is from 1980, and it is I can't remember how I saw it described. It's not as horror sci-fi, but it was uh, I can't remember, but it's a horror sci-fi film, and it's called Contamination. Writers are Luigi Cosi and Eric Tomic. The director is Luigi Cosi. The cast is Ian McCulloch and Louise Marlowe, Marino Maisie, Siegfried Rolch, uh, I can't remember my own writing, is it? Gisela Hattin, Carlo DiMeggio, and Carlo Moni. And the synopsis says a former astronaut helps a government agent and a police detective track the source of a mysterious alien pod spores filled with lethal flesh dissolving acid to a South American coffee plantation controlled by alien clones. On paper, that synopsis sounds absolutely mad.
Yeah, it's unveiled a couple of things that I didn't even pick up on listening to it.
But it again, it's an interesting film, and it's got some good effects, and the basic story is really good.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um, I don't know. I think it now feels a little dated and a little, but I suppose you can forgive it for that because it is like, how old is that? What, 45 years old? I mean, yeah,
I think it offers some of its charm though. That was one of the things that almost pulled me in at the start, was that sort of 80s feel. And sometimes I think in today's world it can sometimes feel like a sign of quality. Like, because I love watching films from the 70s and 80s, and
I think the thing about it is the fact that, and it's something I really appreciate, is the fact that if you're watching something from the late 70s, early 80s, that sort of thing, you know that any effects you're going to get in it are practical effects. There's no CGI, there's no green screen, there's none of that stuff going on because they just didn't have the technology to do that.
no, I mean that is an appeal, because like often, yeah, you can take yourself almost out of the film and think about the set and think about how they're creating these things, like, and especially like, yeah, like the monster at the end and stuff. You can think like, wow,
Yeah,
that was a device probably being operated by multiple people at once while they're filming, and yeah, a big technical construct. And um,
I did. I mean, personal thing is I found the character of the police officer, who some of the time seemed to be there purely for light relief, I just found him really annoying.
I thoroughly agree. I think he was meant to be charming. I think they're almost going for a bit of a sort of Han Solo kind of character. I got that vibe anyway,
Yeah.
and it didn't work.
he just came across as being a really annoying jerk, It's just sort of.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Um, yeah, I was surprised. I looked him up afterwards and realized he was in. I had a little session where I watched a lot of old EastEnders episodes and realized he was actually a character in EastEnders for a
Oh,
brief period that I actually saw, and I was like, oh wow,
wow, I didn't know that.
yeah,
Wow, that's
he was Dirty Den's mistress's husband when she left him and married a new guy, and he was in a
oh
few
wow,
episodes.
there you go. I didn't know that at all.
I didn't place it until I looked him up, but yeah.
Um, I mean, I mean, this was obviously made. This was like it's an Italian film, and Italian, and it comes within a lot of the films that they make, which are well thought out and well made. And Ian was in a couple of them, and I've met Ian. He's a really nice guy, and he's. I can imagine that making the film must have been quite good fun. You know,
Yeah,
um, eh, mm, I think it's a good film, especially for its age. That again, another personal thing. I think the alien at the end was a little bit laughable, but hey,
yeah,
you know,
I get that. I get that. I mean, I I'm glad I saw it. I'm really glad I saw it. Like, it's that sort. It's definitely up my street, that sort of film. And I think for like the first half, I was like really enjoying it, and I was really intrigued to where it was going. Like that bit where they first go into the ship and they're sort of investigating it reminded me of like The Thing a little bit, which is like my favorite horror film. And so I was like, oh wow, I'm really in on this.
yeah,
Whereas, yeah, and the fact they explode and then melt the people and yeah, it was. I was really hooked in, and then I felt like it lost steam because it didn't. I don't think the general villains really. Yeah, well, the aliens, and that it didn't really become that much as in a big concept of things. Like it didn't actually deliver as much as maybe I hoped it would. Well,
no,
like
I do, I agree with you. I know exactly what you mean. I think sometimes, I mean, other films I've seen and that I've read about. This one I haven't read into that much, apart from doing it for this. But I know a lot of the Italian films they start off as being almost like 3 hour long films that they then edit down.
oh, okay,
So, I think there may have been some bits edited out that could have helped with the building of the characters of the aliens and the especially the guy that was controlled by the aliens, the other astronaut.
yeah. I mean, that was one of the things I wasn't too keen on when you realize he's still alive and stuff because I thought it was quite chilling the fact that this guy was yeah, like covering up for the aliens, and then they're like, "Oh no, he's dead," and that was almost a bit of a chilling mystery. And then to find out he was actually alive and the one almost behind it all, I don't know. It took away a little bit of that chilling moment. Like,
Yeah, I
but I
was
mean,
a
that's
I
really
was a
interesting.
bit confused by the bits where they showed them. Now, well, they were supposed to be on Mars,
Yes, yeah, they were.
but it was kind of like ice caves and ice. Or that's what it looked like.
Yeah, I mean, I have heard that Mars can drop to like really low like temperatures, so maybe
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed a little bit odd. The actual kind of that whole bit where they were on Mars and then they were when they came across the whole alien thing initially just seemed a little bit kind of odd and not very well explained.
yeah, I agree. I mean, there's quite a few things that didn't make sense. I mean, I said you read the synopsis. I didn't pick up. So they were saying like human alien clones in the shape of humans. Is that
Yeah,
the people in the warehouse? Because I
yeah, I
didn't pick
think
up on that. I was wondering what the whole deal was with those people in the warehouse and everyone.
I think so, but I'm not 100% sure that the problem with the synopsis that I take the synopsis quite often from IMDb.
Yeah,
And I'm not saying this one is, but there have been some that I have been absolutely sure were written by AI because some of them make no sense and they don't really reflect what the film is about. So they were either written by AI or, as sometimes happens, The synopsis was written before the film was made, so the film
Yeah.
doesn't actually reflect what they wanted it to be.
No, true. And sometimes it could have been taken from like a back of a video box or something, which weren't always the most informative synopsises in
Yeah,
themselves. So,
absolutely. It's a
uh,
bit like blurb on books. Sometimes you kind of read it and go, "What?"
no, no, true. The other thing that I didn't understand that you might have be able to enlighten me on was with the eggs. They were the actual eggs of the aliens that could hatch into what I guess the final form alien was, the final
Yeah,
big alien. But then they exploded a lot, and I don't know if they exploded with
yeah.
touch or exploded voluntarily, or
I'm a bit
heat. I
confused
wasn't
by.
sure.
I mean, the idea. I mean, if you look at the poster, it says about them feeding on your blood, and the alien tries to eat the guy at the end. And I understand that, but I'm not quite sure how the eggs exploding and melting people enables them to feed because they're not there.
Because as well, they say in when the whole bit in the bathroom when she's trapped with the egg in the bathroom,
Yeah,
um, and he has that telepathic bond with the aliens, and he says a sacrifice for no reason. So that egg was clearly dead. Like it wasn't like it exploded and
yeah,
the matter of the egg fed on the human. I presume the egg's dead, like when it explodes, because he said sacrifice.
yeah.
So yeah,
I
I
don't know.
didn't make
I mean,
contact.
that whole scene in the bathroom I thought was funny because they were saying about the fact that the eggs explode when they get warm.
Hmm.
So to me, you're in the bathroom, put the egg in the shower and turn the cold tap on.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, and she would have known this because she was researching them thoroughly. So
Yeah.
yeah,
The other thing was that they suddenly went from this kind of fairly typical 1980s police sort of thing. Um, and even the astronauts and even the people who came to contain the eggs and that sort of thing were wearing fairly typical kind of, sort of stuff. And then all of a sudden they're in this, what seems to be an underground bunker, which has got all of this futuristic sort of computerized stuff and
yeah.
it's like, hang on a minute, what's going on there?
No, I didn't. I did feel like, oh wow, is this set in the future when when they go to that bit? I was yeah, and then I forgot about it again until you brought it up. I forgot about that. Yeah,
Yeah, it was just odd that fit for that moment looked like they'd been put onto some futuristic sort of spaceship or something when he's
yeah.
but
I, I mean, one thing I want to quickly add, like when you were saying about why did she turn the cold tap on, my thought was if you know this substance explodes and goes all over, if it touches your skin, why would you not rip off the shower curtain and put it over the
yeah,
egg? That's what was
yeah,
going through my head. That was my solution.
yeah, you cover it. Oh, I would.
Yeah,
Or even soak a towel in cold water and cover it with that,
yeah. There were
But
quite a
yeah,
few things she could have done, but she just gave in.
I suppose it would have made it so dramatic as really. But there you go. Uh, but I mean, I enjoyed it overall. I thought it was a good film to watch. It's not one that I kind of think I'm overly bothered about watching again.
Nah, I agree. I mean, I think I think one thing it does carry over the years is it does have a real load of charm. It has a lot of charm,
Yeah.
and it's a nice. It's quite easy to watch, and the soundtrack was brilliant. I really thought the
Oh,
soundtrack was
it's any film that's got a goblin doing the
yeah,
soundtrack, it's always going to be good.
yeah, and that was probably the highlight. I mean, even though I enjoyed the film, think the soundtrack was possibly the highlight of it. Like it was a really good soundtrack.
Yeah, no, it was. I agree. I agree. But no, it was an okay film. It was I enjoyed watching it, and it's one. As you say, I'm glad I've watched it
Yeah.
because it's it's a decent film, and it works well, and there are slight plot holes and slight odd things into it, but then I think there are in almost any film you watch. But on the
Yeah.
whole, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, it doesn't. The plot holes don't ruin the film. Like it's not like the film necessarily depends on its plot to be entertaining, and so it gets away with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, so here we go. There are three films. Stealing Time, which we both thought was a really good. light-hearted
Yeah.
time travel sort of adventure thing. Final Offer, which again was a good sort of good film, well paced and well written, and Contamination, a good sort of sci-fi horror from 1980. Good for its time and worth a watch if you in especially if you're into sort of like the Italian horror stuff. That it fits in really well with their sort of thing.
I think most horror and probably sci-fi fans would, yeah, would enjoy it still. And it's like, it's one to see. I think all three are like, they're all entertaining. It was a solid three films in the sense of like, I was entertained watching all three. None of them were,
Yeah.
none of them were unenjoyable.
No. Okay. That's good. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for being on the show. It's been great having you here. Um, I will be back with horror stuff next. We're coming to the end of the year, not that far off now. I've only got 3 shows, I think it is, left to do, something like that. Still, there you go. All right. So thank you. Hopefully you'll join me next time and see you again soon. Bye.